some people in the world who imagine that libraries are really a kind of thing of the past, that sort of slightly ball and chained to the Middle Ages, and that, in the future we'll be able to be on our laptops and have the writing of the world available at our fingertips. And, maybe we will. I think they'd be wrong, though, to say that libraries would then be not useful. And this isn't just me having still a very kind of pleasurable experience with, real books on real paper, not just on my screen. I think it is because libraries are so much more than the books that are in them. That actually, the idea of the solitary scholar, in their study, calling up world knowledge and not talking to anybody, is a horrific one. Now, of course, there are other places that you can talk, but a specialist library really does bring people together with an investment in that subject. And in doing that, and in the conversations and the arguments that it provokes, it is around the library that new ideas, new ways of seeing the ancient world, new thoughts, it's in the library that those generate. I think that once upon a time I used to live in that library. That was in the early 80s, and I had my first academic job at King's College London, and I still hadn't finished my thesis, which was on Roman religion in the late Republic. A study based on the works of Cicero was its full title. And I was desperate. I was really under the hammer to get it finished, and that meant that every free waking hour I was sitting there in the library, and it was the perfect place to be because it had absolutely all the books I needed within about 2 minutes walk from my desk. And I remember the pleasure of being surrounded with all the tools of my trade, but it wasn't just the books on the shelves that were important to me. I think of course the library is a fantastic collection. It's one of the best classical collections in the world, and there can be no such thing as a good library without loads of good books. That goes without saying. But a library isn't only the books. A library is not just a collection of things. A library for me is a community. It's a community of people who talk to each other and interact and share expertise, and that goes from the librarians to the youngest student working there to the oldest professor now like me. And it's in the interactions between those different constituencies, between those different library users, that the library really comes into its own. It was both whispering away, sometimes a bit too loudly, at our desks. It was in the coffee breaks. It was in the pub after hours. The library was the real hub of a kind of intellectual activity that was kind of irreplaceable, and it was the library that enabled that to happen. For humanities students, the library is the place that you do that. Now, I know that one can imagine a kind of rather awful future in which nobody needs books any longer, right? Which everything is available, online, not just periodicals, but the written output of world culture is available, at a click of a button. Maybe that will happen, and in some ways that would be that would be a triumph of the digital revolution. It would also be quite awful in some ways, because I think it would be uncurated. And the point about a library is it has librarians who order and classify and choose and make selections out of that vast amount of knowledge. And it would also be a terribly solitary experience without that interaction with the other library users who were reading the same new periodical that you were reading or had read the book that puzzled you. And I think it's terribly important to see that libraries are really, really innovative, radical and dangerous spaces where new ideas about the ancient world and all kinds of other things, where new ideas get generated. And that generation of the new is because of, in a sense, the interaction between the books and periodicals on the shelves, the new material available online, and the people. And the people are indispensable to the library.